Tim Stighton has made West Ham probably the most attractive destination in European club football at the moment. When you consider the raising profile of West Ham, the heightened profile, we're attracting players that we just could not previously have attracted. To get Todibo over the line and to almost complete Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it just makes this an unbelievable. I mean, I know unbelievable, that word gets bandied around quite a lot, but this is genuinely unbelievable what he's done in this window. It's fantastic, right? It's amazing. I'm running out of superlatives to describe the bloke, actually. You know, this guy, he knows how to convince a player. If you know that if Tim flies somewhere on that jet, the deal's already done, right? You know that if you put him in front of a player, that player's going to join. He knows what to say, right? He's like catnip for young talent. You've got to look at West Ham as where we are, and where we are is the kind of we're the second tier behind the big boys, right? Everyone knows that we're the second tier, but we're the top of the second tier. We're in London. That is a major attraction to people that coming in. We're in a big stadium again. From people coming from Europe, they don't care that the stands ain't close to the pitch. It's a massive stadium, right? Probably very nice to play in. Surrounded by other great players, so you've got a chance of actually doing something and proving yourself. What better platform for a young, up and coming, mega talented footballer to showcase their talent than to come and play at the London Stadium? I mean, I don't think there is one. You know, I love Aston Villa, but it ain't Aston Villa, right? It's West Ham. London's West Ham. East London's West Ham. So, welcome to the show. My name's Gary. This is the Bobby Moore Stand. I hit 4,400 subscribers a couple of days ago. Thank you to all who subscribed. Absolutely fantastic. I want to get to 5,000 before the new season. So please, if you enjoy my shows, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Be amazing if you could join me on this journey. And finally, if you enjoy this video or you like what I do, please can you hit the like button on this video? That really helps me. It tells YouTube to send people to watch my videos. So that's really, really useful. Thank you so much. Right, let's get on with it then, I guess. What an exciting update we had from overnight last night with Jean-Clair Todibo, the French international centre-half sought after, wanted by Man United. In fact, he almost joined Man United. He was 99% of the way there until UEFA decided that, sorry, Jim Ratcliffe, you can't sell a player from one club that you almost own to another club that you almost own. You know, you're not allowed to do that. It breaches the rules. So Juventus wanted him. This is a very, very highly rated player, right? He can do everything. And the way Tim played this deal, to leave, you know, the offer on the back burner, and then, you know, as Juve seem to be upping their interest a little bit and offering a loan deal, he's come in and gone bang, a bigger offer, right? Nice are like, yeah, we'll do that. Tim goes in, he knows the agent, he's speaking to the agent, convinces the agent, gets the player on side, and then they fly to London. 2 medicals yesterday, and apparently the contract was signed about, you know, overnight. They worked on this overnight, all the time while Juve were convinced they is all that to do was carry on badgering the player. Tried to call him while his medical was going on. Weren't happening, was it? Weren't happening. Unlucky, Juve. Unlucky. But this is a fantastic player, like I said. A bit of detail, precise in his positioning. His tackles, you know, both standing and sliding tackles, absolutely brilliant. Consistent performer and a leader. And we've got a lot of leaders coming in, right? He's captain Nice at times as well, so that's interesting. He's right-footed, so it complement in a two. It complement Kilman. He's also won Nice Player of the Year. He's won Ligue 1 Player of the Month award several times, many times actually. He's big, strong, aggressive, and physical. Great header of the ball. Very accurate with his head as well. Great reactions, control and composure on the ball, which is a common theme that we're seeing. And I mean, you know, the one who hasn't got composure, if you like, is Thomas Souček. He's good at certain things, but playing under pressure and having players in his face, you know, that was exposed 3 seasons ago. every single player that can come in now is comfortable under pressure. If you look at, you're talking about Rodriguez, Somerville, Wan-Bissaka, who's the next one joining at long last. This is a fantastic deal, and previously this would have been beyond the likes of West Ham. So that's what I mean when I say West Ham's profile is being raised. It's being raised. We're going up there. We're going to challenge for Europe this season. I'm absolutely certain of it. And I'm also absolutely certain that even though the likes of me are willing to be quite accepting of a slow, not accepting, I'll hate it, right? But accepting of a slow start because the team's got a gel and everything else. There's one person that won't accept that, and that's Jolan Lopetegui. The guy with resting bitch face. You can see what he's thinking just by looking at him, right? He was, even though he put, a who's who of people who are leaving out in the second half against Crystal Palace, the guy was fuming when that team came off the pitch. He does not enjoy losing one little bit, right? He takes it personally. And that is why a lot of people are saying, oh, look what happened to Bournemouth. It took him 2 months to get it going last year. That is not going to be the case with him. Let me be clear, right? It might take a couple of weeks. No one's expecting a blazing start against Villa. We secretly hope there will be one, but nobody really expects it, do they? But I reckon it'll be no longer than a couple of weeks until this team starts to gel, right? Because he won't accept any other way. He will pull players up on their performance, and he's bringing players in of a level who can adapt to different systems. Is removing the people who cannot adapt to different systems, right? There were people who were custom made for a Moyes system. That's Soufal, that's Souček, and many others. But he's basically brought players in who are flexible enough to play and adapt in any system. Quality, international, proven players at the top of their game, right? They have the raw materials to do what a coach asks and adapt as necessary, right? What they need is the raw materials, the ability that, the passing, the control, the composure, the vision, everything else. And a lot of these players, the common denominator, if you look at all of their different traits that they've got, composure and control, that's two of the key ones, right? That I think that's like the first two they're looking for, to be honest. So Todibo, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we've been talking about this for seemingly a couple of weeks now. They're now working on the final, negotiation. It all fell apart. Well, it didn't fall apart. It got stalled because of this loyalty payment to Wan-Bissaka. And it was 7 million. It started off being 3 million, then it turned out it was 7 million. And what they're doing now is just negotiating a final fee, which I assume will give Man U a little bit more, and they'll give the player a little bit more, not the whole 7 million, but something. But Wan-Bissaka is stepping into a team that is probably going to feel, as good, if not better, than the one he left. Let's be honest. If you look at our potential first 11 that we can put on the pitch now, it really is something special. We've lost Benrahma, Kera, Zuma, Ogbonna, Downs, Johnson, Trott, Anang, Mabama, Calvin Phillips as well, right? 10 players out. And then we've seen coming in Foderingham. Again, that's to replace the two keepers that left. Kilman, Guilherme, one for the future, one for off the bench, one for later in the season. Somerville, ready now. He was ready last time he played in the Premier League, but he was in a crap team, right? By the way, it's not being unkind to Leeds. They were a bit crap last time. They know that. Fulkrug, a bruiser up front, an absolute bruiser. To go, to be to compete with Antonio, another bruiser. Defenders are going to come off black and blue against these strikers. Rodriguez, who is an established Argentinian international central defensive midfielder, who, for my money, he's not coming here in his mind to play second fiddle to Alvarez. He's coming here to compete with Alvarez for that slot, right? And that is what we want. We want winners, and that's what these people are. Todibo, another winner, right? And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, somebody who, recently as last season, won the FA Cup and put in a mind-blowing performance in the final. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that before, right? All of these players coming in are winners. They've got a winning mentality, and that is why I have no problem with mixing, some players in their 30s with some real youngsters, right? Some raw talent. You've got to have a mixture. It's the only way that it works, right? I personally think that, Tim has been spectacular so far. We know that. But the essential business is now done, right? That is all the players that Lopetegui needed to get the season underway. And by the way, I don't know if you remember, but this all kicked off when Julian Lopetegui, in a post-match interview, started to say, he started to drop little hints about better get a move on and sign some players, right? When he was touring America. After he said that, bloody hell, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. He dropped another similar comment in a recent interview, like in the last couple of days, talking about the last couple of players that he needs. And lo and behold, the last couple of players are in. So I think credit has got to go to Sullivan because he clearly listens to the manager and he backs Tim. He's given Tim the freedom Tim should have had last year, but that's history now, ancient history. I do think, Moyes might be looking at this and thinking, blimey, no, he won't be. Won't even be having that fault. He won't even be having that fault because he's a man of total self belief, isn't he? But from the outside looking in, you're sort of saying, Moyes, what were you doing? Look what this guy could have done for you, and you fault him, right? It's mad. It's mad. He was a fool to himself. So the Duran move, which is just, it's still there. It's still there. One thing's for sure, they've given him a squad number, Aston Villa. So that suggests that he's going to be a part of the squad going forward. But having said that, there's a lot of ill feeling between the club and him. Him and his agents want him out of Villa. So that is still definitely there to be done. I suppose what we've got to do is see how Villa plays out in the first few weeks and whether Duran gets any game time. Because if he doesn't, then I think there's going to be some friction, some more friction that might end up forcing that move. Some youngsters have been started to move out on loan. So Callum Marshall, rather than go to West Brom, which was a big error going to West Brom, a team in the Championship chasing promotion, doing well. There was no way he was going to make an impact there, right? So he's going to play for League Two Huddersfield. And I know that Carlton Cole and Mark Noble have a big hand in basically hand-picking the destinations for loans because they want to put them in a team where they're going to be used and they're going to play to their strengths and they play the kind of football that's going to suit, that's going to be valuable when they come back to West Ham, right? Now, hopefully, he'll go there, Callum Marshall, and to Huddersfield. He'll bang in a load of goals and get player of the season. He'll come back a ready-made striker. Patrick Kelly, midfielder, has joined Doncaster, also of League Two for the season. And we know what success that Freddie Potts had Wickham last year. He was amazing, right? Player of the season in a a young kid amongst a big group of massive hairy ass men, right? It's one hell of an achievement. But obviously, I think what we saw from the under-21 squad is that they can compete, those players, in League Two, right? But yeah, don't bloody go to a glamour club in the Championship. Go to a League One or a League Two club. Don't go to a glamour club in the Championship that's chasing promotion because it feeds your ego. And I think that was his old man's idea. And hopefully he's realised the error of his ways now. I suspect we'll keep Lewis Alford, Keelan Casey, Gideon Kadua, Ollie Scholes, George Earthy and Junior Robinson maybe. I think 3 or 4 will be training with the first team and developing. Maybe all of them will be. Who knows? Fact is, you've got a squad of 25 players. 17 of them can be overseas. 8 of them can be homegrown, have to be homegrown, right? But that does not count the players that are in the under-21 squad. They are also eligible to play for the first team. So that means that all of them, maybe there's 1 or 2 of them that benefit from a loan. I'm thinking Ollie Scholes there, maybe. I think personally we will keep Kadua, Earthy, Casey and Alford, and the others will be sent out on loan, I suspect. There was a rumour, by the way, a little while ago that the coach was really impressed, particularly with Junior Robinson at right back. So that's an interesting one to look out for. But again, he's very young. So what that means is we can have a squad of 25. We can have another 4 or 5, kids playing in the under-21s. And they can also be training with the first team and come on from the bench and get game time and develop that way. Potts, I think, will get a squad number, because I think he's ready to be at least a backup in the first team. He's a very mature player now. That year has done him marvellously well. Irving is another question mark because he's got bags of first team experience. He's ready for to play some football. I don't think we can, he's not on under 21, so we can't, he'd have to get a squad number, which means surely he'd be playing some games. If he's not in Lopetegui's plans, surely he would get a loan out to, for him, I'd say a championship club or something like that, right? Because he's a higher standard. He's a higher standard, a much more mature player. So I think there's some transactions to be done there. And I also think that now that Tim has kind of stopped doing the hard work, I think moving on in the window, he's going to start really having some fun. We're linked with a raft of different players, and we've still got some players to move out. We've still got Cornet, Sufal Suchek, Ings. Ings is a massive wage bill, right? And the thing is, if you're going to bring in another striker, like we saw happen with Zuma the other day, where we got his wages off the bill. I don't know if he's passed his medical yet, by the way, but got his wages off the bill. We can do that with Ings, then that frees up wages for a new striker. And maybe if you can seal a loan for the likes of Duran, like buy now, pay later, a loan, then basically he's going to be on less wages than Ings, right? We've also, don't forget, put in a bid, 25 million for Tammy Abrahams to Roma, but he wants to stay in Italy, understandably, but he might not have the choice. We've also, put in a bid apparently for the centre back Matt Hummels of Dortmund on a free. Brighton interested in him as well. Again, I'd see him as a backup. It'd be a good backup as well, really good backup. Someone the kids can learn from. Matt O'Reilly, 25 million from Celtic. Apparently, us and Brighton again. It's us and Brighton bidding for everybody, I think. I think Sergi Roberto, read nothing on that. That's dead. Bissek of AC Milan, right back. Now we've got wan-bissaka. I think that's dead. Centre backs, I think we will sign another centre back. Like I said, Hummels on a free would probably be attractive as a squad filler, but there are all sorts of other talents out there that wouldn't cost the earth. I think for 12 million you get Umar Soule of Red Bull Salzburg. Also Logan Costa of Toulouse, two very good up and coming ones. For a little bit more, you get Chalobah of Chelsea, who's been told he can leave. Tamori's out there as well, ex of Chelsea. Diego Carlos of Villa, but again, Villa's a bloody nightmare to deal with, aren't they? Lacroix of Wolfsburg, who's likely going to Palace centre back. So there's a bunch of different links, but one thing you got to know is none of us know what Tim's going to do next. Tim will come out with some surprises. I think there'll be one or two Easter eggs later in the window. I think that's when he's really going to come into his own. I think for once the old phrase of "don't go to bed" from David Gold, God rest his soul, I think it might come true. Maybe he'll send that from beyond the grave. Maybe for once we'll have a few. It'll be worth staying up. It'll be exciting. But look, in summary, Tim is the absolute master. He is the daddy of this. He has raised our profile so that we are the go-to club in Europe, right? Not for the megastars. They're finished products already. They're going to go to the Man U's and the Arsenals and everything else. But the next layer of talent who would simply go to Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool and sit on the bench, they know they're going to be able to come to West Ham and showcase their talent on a big stage in London. And that is why West Ham is probably the coolest team in Europe at the moment. It's the go-to destination. So thank you, Tim Stein, and well done. One thing before I go, Celta Vigo this afternoon. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to try and watch it on TV. I am not going because that's on a point of principle. I believe in what Hamish United are doing around the concessions pricing. I really want to go, but I can't. You got to have principles, haven't you? And that's mine. So probably quite a small crowd in there. I hope that the players and the manager know that is not about them. That is about ticketing situation caused by Karen Brady. I hope that gets resolved, and I hope that Hamish United is successful in what they're doing. But to be honest, it's Karen Brady. I wouldn't hold my breath. She tends to set a direction and just stick to it, irrespective of what people think, doesn't she? But yeah, that's it. That is me done. I watched that game this afternoon with interest. I want to catch a little snippet of Fulkrug maybe coming on from the bench, a little bit of Somerville, a little bit of this and that. I do feel that maybe he'll play it safe and put, you know, some of the team that played against Palace out there. It is just a friendly after all, so I'm not going to get excited about it. But before I go, you know, if you've enjoyed this video, please, first of all, give it a like. Second, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please could you subscribe to the Bobby Moore Stand on YouTube and hit the bell notification icon. Yeah, that's me done. I will see you very soon. Hopefully to talk about, I think the next video, I don't think we're going to have any new signings this week other than wan-bissaka. So it might be a bit more quiet on the transfer front. But the season starts next week. That's me done. Come on, you irons.